Space radio, getting your
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome once again to the Dear Ibby podcast. It's been a while, but we're back, and I believe this is episode 4. And I am joined today with my lovely, lovely friend. Her name is Damola. She is a fashion designer with a background in psychology and social work. She's also a content creator centered around fashion, travel, and mindset. And she's also blending her expertise in design with an understanding of human behavior. So that is quite quite a resume. She is an amazing, amazing human being. And her work also focuses on inspiring others to explore the world, express themselves through style, and cultivate a positive mindset. If this isn't the best Dear Abby podcast guest we've ever had, I don't know who is. But yes, welcome, Damola. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Like I feel like I was taking notes. I can't wait to talk to her about this. Like we have to
Yes,
get into the show, get
yes.
into these couples, you know.
Let's do
So
it.
I'm so
And
excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
thank you. And if you guys haven't already heard, but this episode is based on Love is Blind season 7 DC, okay, the mess. And this is only the first part we'll be discussing today. So if you watched the first part, this podcast is for you. And if you're just waiting to watch the second part, obviously we got this for you and giving you a tee up for the second part. And the topic of this episode is going to be called Will They or Won't They? So we have 6 couples, right? I guess if you don't count Leo
Yes.
and what's her name? Brittany. If you don't count Leo and Brittany, we have 6 couples, but we're gonna get into Leo and Brittany a little bit. But yeah, so just wanted to ask you, just based on those 6 couples, and please feel free to start whichever couple you want to. But based on those 6 couples, what do you think their interaction in the pods were like? Like, how would you, I guess, determine will they or won't they from those interactions?
So I loved the pods this season. Like
Yeah.
I was binge watching up late, probably like a lot of people, and I really, really loved a lot of the interactions. I think they got to touch on like some more deeper topics than I think other seasons. And then the words that they used to describe how they feel about each other, I think was
Mm-hmm.
different. Like it felt like love stories were blooming. Minus the couple you just mentioned. What is his? I
Brittany
forget
and
their
Leo.
name, but what was his name? Mr. I'm rich and I don't want anyone to steal my
Yeah.
money.
Mr. Art Dealer, Leo, and Brittany. Yep.
So he was toxic from the gate.
Yeah.
Like he displayed such manipulative behavior, and it's almost like he's complete. You can tell that he's really insecure and that
Mm,
he wanted to be in control of the
yeah.
women. So he wanted to be the puppet master, choose them, and
Mm,
manipulate how they felt about him. That's why by the time the girl, I think it was Hannah, by the time
yep.
she I think broke up with him, he was like devastated and oh my God, I really, I was gonna come in here and maybe propose to you and all of this is like, no, you're not hurt that you
Yeah.
love her. You're actually hurt that she has embarrassed you and
Yep.
shown your insecurities because you wanted to control and manipulate her.
Yeah. Honestly, I will say this about Leo in the beginning. I loved how he was conversing um with with Hannah. You know, she was
Hmm.
the youngest one there, and I bet they were around, maybe he was like 30 and she's 20,
I think,
26.
yeah,
Yeah. He's 30, she's 26. So, um I liked the fact that like her youngness and her spontaneity was kind of like interesting to him because he was always worried about the money.
yeah,
I don't know if she wants me for my money, but Hannah didn't even know what an art dealer does. She didn't know who or where this guy was and what he
right,
came from. And he was the one always bringing up his money.
yeah,
And for someone to say, "Oh, I don't want people to actually use me for my money," you're bringing it up quite a lot.
right. I don't think I've ever been around a wealthy man who like constantly talked about, look at my Rolex, and then look at this, and gosh, I don't want you to take me for my money. But then at the same time, he was getting ready to, or did actually choose, the other girl, Brittany,
Yes.
who I don't think she just wanted somebody for the money, but there are women who, believe in like hypergamy, I think is the word, who want to be taken care of. And she was very
Yeah.
upfront about that, very
Yeah.
clear, which I love that for her. She
Yes.
did not shy from saying, I find it weird to try to pay any bills and, these things. So he is attracted to that type of woman who
Yeah.
does want to be cared for, but at
Yeah.
the same time is scared of being taken advantage of because of his past and also his insecurities.
Yeah, he mentioned that Brittany would be the type of woman that he could potentially get with, but Hannah would be the one that he would never, look at outside of the pods. And I know Brittany and Leo, they didn't make it to the island. They went to Miami. They decided
Hmm.
to break up, 2 weeks later, which was expected,
Yes,
because
absolutely
that
expected.
interaction is super forced. He just didn't want to go home.
She wasn't attracted to
But
him, I think.
no, she definitely wasn't.
That reveal was like
But I mean, like, if the money was there, I thought she would potentially try, but
right,
yeah, she just wasn't physically attracted to him. So I will say Brittany and Leo were my least favorite couple, even though
for sure.
they didn't make it. But who, just based on like the pods, who was your favorite? Like, which couple
So
was your favorite?
from the pods, my favorites were Ashley and Tyler and Taylor and Garrett.
Yes,
Those were my favorite. Taylor and Garrett, especially, I think were very just from the gate. I
they
loved
were
how they
in
were sure about
June,
each
right?
other.
Yeah.
Their nerdy language of like
Yes.
science and everything. I was like, this is really interesting.
The
And then
science tattoos.
yes, that was so interesting to me. That I love that. So and then Ashley and Tyler, I think also from the beginning, just like connected. And then my third, if I could choose a third, would
Yes.
be Ramses and Marissa. However, I really like them. They remind me of like young love in their 20s, and he looks super young actually, and they're both like mid 30s, which is go for good for them.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
those are my top three. I think the healthiest, strongest connection that I'm like I would be floored if they didn't get married would be Taylor and Garrett.
Yes.
I would be
Um,
shocked.
I agree. I actually those were my top three as well. And if you look at the other ones, Hannah and Nick D, Monica and Steven, they didn't really do it for me. And Alex and Tim also didn't really do it for me. But to your point, I will say Garrett and Taylor, yeah, their connection was just amazing. It was instant, the signs, tattoos, their mutual interests. It was just perfection.
Mhm.
Because I don't even think if I had you know, if I was Taylor and I had all these things about me, I couldn't find maybe even one person, and I felt like the casting was pretty,
It was on point.
yeah, it was on point. But that one, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they even with Ramses and Marissa, regardless of how that turns out, I feel like they are almost two sides of the same coin. Like they seem very kind of hippie vibes, kind of fun loving, free spirited, kind of, minus the kind of conservative military side of Marissa.
Yeah, Marissa, yeah.
I think that they would be a good couple. I just don't know if they're going to get married. I don't know. It feels
So,
very young and just like fun. Maybe if they had 2 years, but a month, I don't know.
yeah, I can't honestly remember if they had any like tough conversations in the pods, but I do know like the change was when she asked Ramses, "Oh, what's your sign? Your rising, your moon,"
Yes,
and then he tells her. I was like, "Wait, girl, that's what did it for you?"
that's
Because she was still trying to pick between him and Bowden.
right.
So I was like, okay, I guess.
Yeah,
And then after that, she was like in love.
yeah.
Um,
She was so
so
like she was excited. She was falling over like, oh, he's
mhm,
perfect based on this. I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, if he's the evolved version of those
yeah,
signs, then maybe he'll be perfect. But I think the part in astrology that people leave out on a random side note is that with every sign, people evolve out of their flaws for that
mhm,
sign. And so if you meet someone, even if they seem kind of perfect, to my understanding, if they're still kind of immature in their sign, you're going to get some of those negatives as well.
yeah,
So the fact
Yeah.
that, like you said, that was the deciding factor was shocking.
Yeah, it was really strange. And yeah, they someone made a comment. I think it was one of the girls or Ashley. She said they look like they could be siblings, and they sure enough
They
do.
sure do. They sure do. And I don't know
They
why.
sure do.
I don't even know why she was so interested in the other guy. It gave friendship, which I guess love can bloom from friendship, but it gave very like platonic friendship. It didn't give romance.
Romantic. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. But let's go back to Ashley and Taylor. So they are top two, and they're not number two for me. I'm really disappointed if these two don't walk down the aisle, don't get married. I would be so disappointed. But then again, this is only the first half. You know, new episodes dropped. We're gonna talk about that later in
Hmm.
another episode. But instantly, connection was there. It was
Yeah.
awesome. And I don't know about you, but Tyler was giving me like fuckboy vibes in the beginning.
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see how you would pick up on that in the beginning, but then he kind of switched up
yeah,
and got a little bit
yeah,
serious about
yeah. He
her.
did.
Yeah,
But
I
then
think I was gonna say
I
as
was
they had
just
like deeper conversations.
yeah, yeah. And honestly, aside of me, because I am what you call I'm a realist, but I'm also an optimist. Aside of me is always considering the fact that these guys are just trying to get some fame and just get some
Mm,
screen time. They don't want to get sent home. They want to make it through. They want to, make it through the entire season and see what happens. And I really would hate if that was the case for Tyler, but in the back of my mind, I was getting that vibe from him, and I was just like, man, if this man messes up with Ashley, it was reminding me of those two from last season,
which one? Which couple?
AD.
Yes, that was such a shocker. You know what? We're AD
Yeah,
and oh girl, that was.
yeah,
But
yeah,
if I could
yeah.
remember correctly, he had dropped some signs in there that
He
were
did.
giving,
Yeah, he
you
did. He
know,
did. But yeah, but that's still in the back of my mind. Like even if they don't say men are just interesting creatures, but you never know.
multiple layers, multiple layers. I think
Yeah, that's yes.
the dynamic in this show as it increases is that I feel like there are more men who are in it for fame and more women who are in it to truly find someone. But I feel like there's always at least a few women on the season who are just like coming from a scarcity place, coming from a I must pick somebody, I must be chosen, and make terrible decisions because they're coming from that space.
To that point, I think Monica and Steven I yeah, Monica. I mean, I don't want to say
Mhm.
because of age or anything like that because she's an amazing person. She has a lot going on for herself,
Mhm.
and for her to choose someone like Steven, like their initial conversation was interesting because he was telling her how he cheated in the past, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry,
I'm so
girl. What are
sorry
you
for
sorry
you
for?
that you cheated.
What are you
Um,
sorry for? No, like you're
not the
supposed to be
victim.
writing notes, reading them back, understanding that this guy is probably not the one for you."
Right.
But maybe there were some things that we didn't see. I don't know.
It's
But
possible.
yeah,
It's possible that there are parts of that conversation that were edited out, but I feel like so there are two sides, right? I tried to look at it from they're under a lot of pressure. If you've read the, backstories from the previous seasons, they're usually drinking a lot, they don't get a lot of sleep. They're in those pots talking for hours and hours, and then they edit it down to whatever story they want each person to present with. So I tried to look at it as I'm judging you based on what I see on this show, even though there's probably countless of reasons why some people present the way they do. But for Monica, it's kind of like very she like you said she has a lot going on for herself, beautiful woman, and then she's putting herself in this like super understanding, no matter what you say, like you can talk to me kind of thing, almost like suppressing what she really really wants, ideally just because she wants a relationship so badly. And I don't take offense to what people allow people to call them and all of that's not my thing, but the whole like I found out I was 0.3% Nigerian and African and she and she's like I'm pretty much black, but I'm Honduras and mixed with this and that. He's like, oh, girl, you're a mutt. And she's like, I am a mutt. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's just, it's giving, I'm desperate, unfortunately for her. It's giving, I'm desperate and I'm going to take this person who I
Yeah,
can mold into what I want versus going for what I want.
because she did say that like she's usually looking for like a status in the man, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you look at it, Steven's an electrician. And another thing I feel like with Steven, I feel like he's not genuine. He talks a lot, and it's like
Yeah.
he talks in circles. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with just being nervous, but whenever someone talks a lot around me,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to hide something,
Yeah.
you know, and like you have to listen to what they're saying because
Mm-hmm.
usually
Yeah.
and that's what Steven was giving for me.
Yeah.
Like you're talking too much, you're hiding something. Like you're not being genuine. And
Mm-hmm.
even Monica, when they got to Mexico at the resort, and she was like, "Okay, stop talking. You're
Right.
doing
Like,
it. Stop
I
talking."
can't get a word in, like, stop talking. I think something I did also pick up on in the pods with him is that he said something about he didn't feel like he deserved his ex and that's why he went and cheated. And that's
Mm-hmm.
a huge red flag for
Red
me.
flag. Yes,
Because
yes, yes.
if you're insecure and you feel like you don't deserve a better woman, there are believe but when a man tells you who he is, believe him. Because
Mm-hmm.
insecure men are dangerous. Insecure men can lead to so many different paths. And for him to have felt that he didn't deserve such a good woman, and then he sabotaged it by cheating, and then here comes Monica, who's like, I'm sorry that happened to you. It's like, no, you should be paying attention to the fact that you're a good woman.
Yeah,
He may not feel like he deserves you, and who knows what's going to happen with that.
yeah. And can we talk about sabotage? And obviously, this is the Derby podcast. We talk about mental health here. Steven, I think he might need to uncover some trauma or just
Yeah,
like uncover some of the feelings behind any sort of trauma because for someone to sabotage a relationship based on just like not feeling enough, there's got to be something more to that. So,
for sure.
yeah, and I feel like a lot of the folks actually the other couple that I felt was a little bit too heavy for me was Alex and Tim.
Is that the one that's always crying? Let me look at my notes.
Yeah, so Alex is the one that lost his two sisters.
Yes. And it
Mhm.
sounds really it sounds really insensitive to him, like he's always crying because obviously he, lost people that were really important to him. And
Yeah,
being on the show and having, spending hours and drinking and confiding in a woman allowed him to show his raw emotions.
yeah.
But a part of me wonders if she really likes him. I don't know if she's shy and reserved, but I didn't get as much from her as
Mhm.
we did for him. I think he probably really does love her and wants to be with her, but even at the reveal, I it wasn't awkward, but I feel like she either wants it to grow more, is giving it space to grow, but I don't think she's like as in love with him as he is with her.
I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna rebuttal with this because I feel like she might also be sabotaging the relationship. She might feel
Mm,
not worthy of him. Just because there were a couple of instances when they made it to Mexico, something she said, "Oh, you're giving me the
right.
ick." Like
Mm-hmm.
you're and then I also didn't like the instance where they were always just like one on one each other. It was just really weird. Like I mean I like a little banter with my partner, but they went shopping and he picked out this hat. She was
Thank
like,
you
no,
for
no.
saying that.
Like it was just it was giving like push and pull and
Yeah.
yeah.
He
I
he gave me he seemed immature.
Mhm.
And here's why. So one of the things he said was, in my past relationship, my ex hated this shirt, so I
Mhm.
purposely wore it all the time.
Yep.
So now fast
Mhm.
forward, you're here to find a wife and you're on vacation for the first time and she says she doesn't like something. From the gate, actually, from the reveal when he kept saying something, was it like he kept saying some phrase that
The
annoyed her.
dog, the dog in
Yes.
me,
So like
dog.
after the first like maybe 3, 4 times, like, all right, cute, done.
Mhm.
But you carry that to with you on the vacation. she still hates it or pretends to hate it, whatever. Couples have their things. But then the scene when they're shopping and he puts on like the hat and she's like, I don't think that's working for you. Maybe it's just me, but I like a man that's like, I want to look good for you. And if you hate it,
Mm-hmm.
don't give me the ick
Right.
on purpose. Like,
Yeah.
isn't the goal for you
Yeah.
to want your woman to be like deeply attracted to you and want to, like, do you want her to go out with you in that hat and see another man who isn't wearing a ridiculous hat and be attracted to him? Like, I'm confused. That was so
You would
immature to
think,
me.
right? Yeah, I agree. And speaking of the ick, let's get to this last couple. You know who I'm talking about?
Hannah and
Hannah and Nick D.
they can we talk about how after they all saw each other in Mexico, all of the women were like, Nick, like he presented to be this like big football player.
And that's what Hannah wanted. Honestly, that's what she
I
wanted.
feel for her as a tall woman because Hannah is a taller woman, and I feel for her on that sense because I'm also a tall woman. And I get kind of like she was in this pod and she imagined this man that would make her feel, I guess, smaller or more feminine or whatever the case may be. And here he comes walking out, and she's like, I think I'm taller than him. He's so little. And they all agreed that he
They said the
pretended to
same
be
thing.
or came across like he was this like bigger man, but I don't think she likes him. And she's a little bit she's rude. She's to me she's rude and they're not a good match because especially once one I don't think she's attracted to him or at least was at the and when they first at the reveal. Then they get to Mexico and this man is just trying to have a good time. He's kind of childish, kind of like humorous. And
Yeah,
she's just like, ill. Like, why would you be riding a
a
duck
duck or
with some
whatever it
stranger?
was.
And why would you have that stranger talking about me and then not come back to me? And it's like, I understand, like, maybe if she didn't find it funny, he should have like given up on that and went back to her. But at the same time, like, relax. And
Yeah,
she keeps talking down to him,
yeah,
and nitpicking at him. And I
yeah.
don't, that's such a weird and awkward dynamic. I don't know if you've ever been like on a double date or around a couple where the woman is just like constantly criticizing and complaining about him. And it's just like, why are you together? This isn't healthy.
Yeah. Thankfully, I have never been in any of those situations with any other couple. So, but I could imagine what that looks like because I've seen it with Nick and Hannah. And I wanted to just say something, then we can move on. But I feel like Nick was just smooth talking everyone in the pods. And again, I think this is just back to
Yeah.
my just back to my like reason behind why these men are just in it for fame. I feel like he just wanted to stay in the house. He just
Hmm.
wanted to be odds. He was gonna smooth talk whoever was gonna fall for it. And the other girls, they were like, yeah, nah, this guy's just a
Right.
smooth talker. But Hannah was falling for it, and I think it has to do with the fact that she is the youngest,
Hmm.
and she also probably has some image issues, like she mentioned.
Yeah.
She lost 40 pounds. She was overweight at a point, so she was like, oh, this big, football guy, he's probably like the best looking one. I gotta have him. And
Yeah.
to boost her self confidence, I think that was probably why that connection for her was a little bit stronger than Leo's. But and also she initially stopped talking to Nick because all the other girls were
Yeah.
like, girl, no, he's poison, he's toxic.
Hmm.
And she didn't I think also because the other girls were saying this guy isn't it, she really wanted to just say, well, no, he is it, so I'm gonna go
Yeah.
for it again.
Yeah.
So just a little bit about her is just insecurity, rude, like you mentioned, and a little bit self-sabotaging as well due to her insecurities.
Yeah. And I kind of
Leo,
feel like she also wanted to be like chosen no matter what. Like she wanted to be with on the show partially. I feel like a little bit of her just wanted to continue on the show, but I think also it was like I must be chosen. I must find a man on the show because if you didn't like him and you broke
quit
up
her
with him,
job. She quit her job, but she was like, I quit my job. I don't have a job. I came here for love.
how could I forget? Yes, I came here just I quit my job so I could come here and find a husband. Like babes, even if you find a husband, you might
You
still
need
need
a
to
job.
work.
You're
Like,
gonna need a job, girl.
right.
Okay. So yeah, I wanted to also talk about the chemistry when they first met in Mexico. I know we touched on it a little bit more, but let's go back to Garrett and Taylor. Like, what do you think that chemistry was like? Because they didn't have sex,
Yeah.
but then they were super intimate. They went, surfing, paddleboarding, all that stuff. They were talking and getting to know each other.
Yeah.
But I think they were probably the only couple that did not sleep together. So, what are your thoughts about that?
I don't think that they needed to. I personally didn't think that they needed to have sex to have that connection. I think
Hmm.
some couples feel the need to do that, or just don't think about it too heavily. It's just
Hmm.
we're together, we're here, whatever. And some couples might put a little bit more, importance on that. But their chemistry to me, because it's kind of like growing with them being in different scenarios, I think it's going to make it stronger. Like they are taking their time to have these experiences with each other and talking with each other and letting it grow from there. Even from when they first saw each other at the pods before they got to Mexico, you can tell it was they're attracted to each other and they're just kind of like taking things slow. Like, and I know she had reservations because of her being Asian, of is this man going to accept me? And that was something that concerned her. Um, and but I think that it's a good thing. I think they got to make that choice and it's not awkward. It's not as if they decided not to be intimate and then it came across as I don't want you at all, you know?
Yeah,
I think it's just a
I agree.
boundary for her or for him. I don't know who made that decision, but I
Yeah.
think it's a boundary that they're holding firm to, and that's okay.
Well, I think it's definitely her because I don't know what man would be
You
in a
know what? You're
foreign
right.
country and
You're
not
right.
want to, have sex with his fiance, right?
Right.
But yeah, I really hope those guys make it down the altar, and I really hope that their relationship is not just like a really strong friendship because it can be misconstrued as that. Like, you have a lot in common, but that doesn't
Hmm.
mean you're good together. But I
Right.
really hope that it's true love. And as far as like let's since we're on the topic of sleeping with each other, Ashley was apparently celibate or
Until
abstinent or
she,
abstinent. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. She mentioned she was abstinent. She had been abstinent for like 2+ years or something like that.
yeah.
So I wasn't expecting her and Tyler to actually do in Mexico.
I was expecting it because the way when they saw each other, I think the interesting part about this couple in Love is Blind is that they look like they would have been together and picked each other if they saw each other at like a bar or something,
Yes,
you know.
you're right.
And I think in the scene where she explained that she had been celibate, it's because she didn't want to just hook up with random people. She was waiting until she had a meaningful connection. So because she's engaged, I wasn't surprised that they decided to be intimate.
Yeah, but the first night though, girl.
Listen, maybe it might have been a year, 2 years. I don't know. They were excited. But I
No,
mean,
no.
the other couple, what is her name? Marissa and Ramses, it wasn't the first night. It was
First 10 minutes.
the first lunch. Like
I still don't. That is one couple. I need to see what's gonna happen with them.
their
So look, yeah,
their fire is burning too hot, I think.
a little
I
bit,
think
right?
it's like it's gonna fizzle. It's what it feels like. I think it's really with any passionate, like immediate, like hot relationship, I think it fizzles. And if when it fizzles, there's no real foundation there, then it might fall apart. But if it works out, I'd be really excited. But I don't have a strong feeling that it's gonna work out.
They look good together. They're literally like the same person.
They are. It's
With the
weird.
hair, the skin tone, just like the physique, it's literally like they look like they could be twins.
Yeah.
Um, so that's really interesting. And as far as like just again from a connection from when they were on the island when they met in Mexico, who else do you think had like an awkward, like first meet? I was thinking Monica and Steven for sure.
Monica and Steven. Yes. I felt like it was. I don't think Monica. I don't think Monica likes that man.
You think she's just trying so hard because she doesn't want to be single anymore?
Right. I don't think she likes him. I feel like she's trying to convince herself. It's the thank you
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
service over and over. It's the I love you,
Yeah.
I love you, I love you, I love you.
I
It's
love
like,
you. Yeah.
are you saying it to convince yourself? Because I don't, I don't think you like
You know
him.
what? Yeah, you're actually absolutely right because I was wondering like what is going on here?
Yeah, yeah. And their first meeting was like kind of awkward, you know.
It looks, do you think if he hadn't had told her in the pods, oh, like I thought I was white, but I'm not, and I'm actually black, do you think she would have even continued to talk to him?
I don't. I feel like she would have honestly from her like I really want this. I want a man. I think she would have from that desperation, but she really like that moment of that 3% black power that he
Black
did.
power.
It was it was it for her. You know, it was like, what do you
Okay.
mean I got a black king? That was it.
Good for you, Monica. Good for
Right.
you.
Right.
Okay. All right. So now let's get to it. Will they or won't they? Who do
Mm-hmm.
you think will actually make it down and get married based on the first half that we've seen? Obviously, the second half is out now, but we're going to talk about that later in a different episode. But the first half, let me just go down the list for you.
Let me look at my little notes.
Alex, Alex and Tim.
Um, Based on what I've seen so far, the first half, especially in the first few episodes, when they first got to Mexico, they the two, remind me, my memory sucks sometimes. Are they the ones that had the argument that wasn't filmed where he felt really disrespected and was ready to walk
Yes.
away?
And he didn't sleep in the room that night apparently. And another thing that she was saying that we can work together, we can fix this, and she was like hugging him, and he was just so despondent, and he didn't even want any sort of attachment to her. He
Hmm.
didn't even want to get her. That was the last episode, and I think the last scene that they showed us from that couple. So yes,
So
that's
I think that based on that scene, that was the first time that it became a little bit apparent that she cared about him. I think that you are right in the sense that that self-sabotage is in her a little bit as well. The spirit of self-sabotage that a lot of women have, it's in her as well. And I think that good for him for having such firm boundaries where you can't call me out of my name, you're not going to curse me out, you're not going to do this and that.
I really want to
However,
see this argument. Was it that bad they couldn't show it on Netflix?
seriously,
What
because
happened?
the scene before that was when they were all with the other couples, and you can
Yeah.
tell he had been drinking. He made some comments in that scene that made me feel like he is uncompromising. He behaves
Mm-hmm.
as though he's much older than her and she needs to fall in line or he's
Mm-hmm.
not going to marry her. That's what it's giving to me because you can just he said some things when he was drinking and I wish I had written it down. And then when it happened where, the whole cursing out situation and he was so, I'm ready to go. Like I
Mm-hmm.
understand feeling disrespected and like maybe he had flashbacks. He had dealt with some like hot-headed women in the past and would not tolerate it. I have met men who you're not going to curse. And that's okay. But I don't see him being very compromising, and you have to
Yeah.
be if you're going to be with a whole other person. So I
Especially if you were supposed to love this person, like why wouldn't you want to compromise?
Right, right. You don't even want to change your hat. Um,
Or stop saying dog, woof woof.
right, right. Like don't bark at me. What is this? So I feel like one of them is gonna say no. If anything, maybe he's gonna say yes, and since at the like I don't even see that. Maybe at this point she's gonna say yes and he's gonna say no.
Wow, it's gonna give like an 80 and whatever that man's name is. We're not gonna mention him here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hope the second drop of Love Is Blind season 7 changes that because I would love to see this black couple make it.
Yeah, I would love to see them, I would love to see her show a little bit more affection, show more maturity, and him just compromise a little bit. My goodness. It's not that deep.
I totally agree.
Mhm.
Um, so next we have Ashley and Taylor. I'm
Ashley
sorry,
and
Tyler. Ashley and Tyler.
Tyler. Ashley and Tyler. I think they're gonna make it. I think they're gonna make it. They're strong. They're pretty solid. They're clearly very attracted to each other. If anything, I think they built that foundation in the pods, and then when they saw each other and they were like, "Oh, this is what you look like."
Mhm.
Bet I feel like the rose-colored glasses that happens when there's physical attraction. I think if for nothing else, that'll carry through, and they're gonna get married. I have a strong feeling for them.
Okay. Okay. I like that. And how about Garrett and Taylor?
I think it's a yes. If I think it's a yes if whenever they go into the apartments, because the thing that what is Garrett kept saying that concerns me is that he kept saying I'm always busy. Like
Mhm.
I go to work and then I go
We're
fishing. I
both
go to
really
work and I go
busy.
fishing. And
We're
it's
both
like
really busy, right? Like our
right,
lives are so busy.
right.
Like, well, no, I can make time. Like, yeah,
Right. Are they and then she also says she works a lot too. She has a demanding career, so it's I don't know if they're going to be able to make time for each other. They remind me of that couple from Love is Blind UK. I think I don't remember their names, but where it was similar, work and life responsibilities kind of drew them apart. But that couple was also long distance. I think they're not I don't believe they are going to be long distance, but if he can actually make time for her, I think that they would definitely say yes.
okay, all right. And our favorite Hannah and Nick D.
Absolutely not.
It might surprise us.
I will be shocked if we come back here and they have said yes. I will eat my words, okay?
They might even be gone before we start watching the second
You know
half.
what?
Who knows?
That's true. That's very true.
All right. And now
I will be shocked.
Marissa and Ramses.
I want them to, but I don't see it happening. I think that passion, that fire is gonna fizzle out
Yeah.
before they get to the altar or even at the altar.
Yeah.
But I could see them being the type of couple that says no, but then continue to date, and then maybe by the reunion they're like, "We're still together. We're figuring it out," you know?
Yeah. Okay.
I think they need more time.
Okay. And then finally, Monica and Steven.
I feel like my I feel like funny enough, I think she's desperate enough to say yes to that man, but I don't think he would say yes. I think he's something about their dynamic is off for many reasons, but I think she should say no. Like I would pray that she says no,
So,
but I think she wants it so badly that he's probably gonna mess it up or he's gonna say no.
so I'm gonna say the opposite there. I'm gonna say Monica's gonna say yes, and I'm gonna say Steven's gonna say yes.
Really?
Because Monica's obviously super desperate into wanting to make this work. And I feel bad by saying that word, but it's just the vibe that she's
Same.
giving. Um,
Yeah.
and obviously the episodes and what they're making it look like. And I also feel like Steven will probably say yes, just because.
Hmm.
And then obviously we'll come back in the reunion and they'll be divorced or they'll whatever
It'll be
it'll
done.
be done. So I'm thinking that's
Yeah.
what it's gonna give. But yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully, I
And
mean,
I was gonna say, I was gonna clarify. I know that there's a negative connotation with the word desperate,
yeah,
but I think that everybody has desperate moments, whether it's for relationships, whether
yeah,
it's for something else in life. And I think it's okay. I think it's okay to understand that it's operating from a space of scarcity. If she's more abundant or has an abundant mindset, it's like somebody else is going to be out there. And if there isn't, then you got to figure out what to do with your life because
period.
dating nowadays is
Yeah.
yeah, the eye roll. Dating right now is a little bit intense. It's a little bit challenging, but I don't subscribe to the idea that desperation is completely negative. It's just at this moment in her life on this show, her behavior is displaying some desperate.
Yeah.
It seems desperate. Yeah.
Also, it's because of him. Like he's just not up to her standards.
Right. Right.
From when he said, we're not even gonna get to some of the things he said, but for me, I was just like, "Whoa, girl!" What are you doing?
Like, are you sure? Are
Are
you
you? Is this the man for you? Yeah,
like, yeah, it's too understanding
yeah,
in a bad way.
yeah,
Like you can be understanding and still say like, no, I'm good. That's not for me.
yeah. I really want to know who else she connected with outside of Steven that didn't make it.
Yeah.
That would have been nice to see what those
Yeah,
conversations
because
were like. Yeah.
they didn't show us her other interactions, right?
No, they didn't. No.
Mm,
Yeah.
I wonder if there were others, somebody more suitable,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. I mean, there had to have been. Honestly, thinking now, I feel like maybe. Mm, no, I was thinking maybe Tim, but nah.
No.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah,
We
we'll
shall
see.
see.
I will say that I'm proud of the couples when they finally saw each other in Mexico, that there were no very awkward like triangles to where somebody went and was overly friendly with someone they used to date and all. There was none of that. And I'm happy that because the previous season there was always at least one man
Yeah,
who went to somebody he had talked to in the
yeah.
pods and said something really, really ridiculous. Like, the woman you're engaged to is right over there, right?
But you do
There was always
then
that,
they're gonna
you
invite the
know.
others. So like I think I saw a snippet about like
Oh,
yeah. So
right.
I think I
Okay.
saw Bowden and Marissa talk in like the snippet for the next part. So we might see
You
that.
know what?
So
Too soon.
yeah,
Maybe I'm
it's
speaking too
yeah,
soon.
we might see that soon. It's probably out
Yeah, yeah,
now.
yeah. Maybe I'm speaking too soon.
Mhm.
We'll see what happens there. So far, there hasn't been that, but we'll see when they, get to meet with the
Yeah,
others.
yeah, but it was good. I think the only ones that were kind of weird that we saw were Hannah and Nick D, and then afterwards was the Tim and Alex one. So those were the two that were a little bit concerning as far as like drama that wasn't necessary or whatever the case was. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. I agree.
Well, do you have any closing remarks as far as this season? Anything you want, like you're excited to see?
I'm excited to see the dynamics of the families.
Oh, oh,
Um,
yeah.
to see how that works. Of course, I'm excited to see the altar to see who makes it there. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they're like once they're in an apartment with each other and kind of out of that little vacation
Yeah.
bubble. I'm excited to see that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm excited to see those wedding dresses.
Oh yeah, that too.
Because
Let's see who let's see what they
let's see
choose.
what they choose. Like let's see
And
let's see what you walk down the aisle with. Let's do it.
are we envisioning Ramses and Marissa kind of in like matching all white type of. I'm
Like
picturing
linen,
Ramsey
maybe linen.
like in a very free spirited look
Yeah,
um for them. Yeah, I'm picturing that right now. I'm excited to see what they choose to wear.
yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm super excited for the dresses. And speaking of dresses, well, can we talk about my dress? Can you tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about this dress?
She surprised me. She's wearing one of my designs from my last collection. It was one of my favorite, probably most complicated designs to date, that we have made so far, and she looks lovely in it, and all of the intricate details on the bottom of the skirt. And I'm so excited because she like you look stunning in it, and
Girl, every
a
time I wear
designer
this,
loves.
everyone loves it.
Huh?
Every time I wear this, everybody loves it. Everyone loves
I
it.
love
I
that.
have never gotten like as many comments and compliments in this dress as I've gotten in other. This is the dress. So,
Oh,
and
I
it's
love that.
it's
I love to
perfect for
hear that.
fall too. So it's like it's long
It
sleeve.
is.
You
It
can
got the
pull it up.
sleeves.
You can shorten it
Mhm.
up. It's beautiful. I love it.
I love it on you. A designer loves to see when the product looks amazing on the muse. So here we are. One of my muses.
Yes, it was so nice talking to you. Hopefully, we'll see you on part two, and we can
Yes.
discuss on the finale and see like, who actually makes it and everything else that happens.
Right, right. We'll see. We'll see if I eat my words.
Well, I'm right there with you because I think we had the same predictions except for Monica and Steven.
Right, right. Let's see what happens there.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. This was fun.
Of
Thank you for inviting me.
course.
Yeah, and I'll see you on the next
Next
one.
one, yes. Bye.
Bye.
Je me suis fait